Ashutosh Raghuvanshi joins us, Managing Director and CEO of Fortis HealthCare. Dr. Raghuvanshi, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on ET now. Now, Fortis has seen good growth in the ARPOB and occupancy numbers in Q4 FY24. What are the targets, sir, for FY25?
Yes, I think this has been a culmination of a lot of work over a period of time that the performance has improved, and we expect this trend to continue. Now, this was essentially led by a growth in the ARPOB, as you would have noticed with the numbers, and that was a result of the case mix change, essentially. For instance, we did about almost more than 4,000 robotic surgeries last year. We did about 60,000 cardiac procedures. We did a total of about 110,000 surgical procedures, which is almost 8% increase from the previous year. And since the acuity of these cases was high, as a result of that, the ARPOB was high. We still are, aspiring to achieve a higher occupancy number. The occupancy figures were approximately about 67%, and we expect to take this to above 70% in the coming year. So the outlook for the next year also is that we would be able to sustain and grow from the current level. We had earlier stated that, by the end of this financial year, our run rate of EBITDA should be approximately 20% on the hospital side, which we have achieved. And we expect this trend to continue in future. And this would also be led by the increased capacity we are building. So in this financial year, we would be adding close to about 700 odd beds, and we would operationalize at least 300 of them within this financial year. So some of them will be during the later part of the year, but that would also lead the growth this year.
Dr. Raghuvanshi, morning. Your revenues this time around from the digital channels have been about 25% of your overall hospital revenues versus 22.1% in FY23. So how do you see this revenue contribution shaping up?
Yeah, so the digital channel is one channel which is continuously growing, and I do not separate it out from the main business, because eventually it is the consumer behavior. Patients are seeking appointments, etc., through the digital channel more and more. So it is becoming a very vital part of the service offering, and we are trying to strengthen that a little more by providing a lot of other digital tools. We have a MyFortis app. We also have a feedback mechanism and a service app, which is part of the MyFortis app. So with all that, I think it is something which is making the service offering little smoother for the patient and more comfortable, and that is why that channel is growing at a very rapid pace. Almost 25% growth we have seen this year, and we expect that channel to become more and more important as we go in future.
Right. So you did highlight, a bit of the bed capacity, but could you also indicate the additional revenues in FY25 that one can expect?
So we are adding about total of 700 beds as a capacity, but we will not be operationalizing all these beds. And as the occupancy numbers go up, we will keep on increasing, opening the beds. So approximately about 300 beds we expect to commission within this year out of these 700. We expect an occupancy, as I said earlier, to go about 70% on an overall basis. So the incremental revenue would essentially be in line with that occupancy growth.
So share growth plans for Eagles Diagnostic in terms of network expansion, and how do you see the volumes to grow?
So diagnostic industry is now seeing stabilization in our view, and the competing pressures are sort of lessening. Agilus is also expected to do well in this change situation. Our performance for the previous quarter has not been that encouraging. However, we are taking a lot of steps to improve the trade channel mix, product portfolio, etc., and cost optimization. The growth last year was only about 2%, which is marginal, but we expect that growth to be much higher this year based on the increase in our network and direct customer acquisition, as well as the hospital labs management, which we do.
And diagnostics is doing well. So in the future, will you think of listing this separately?
Yes, so rebranding was something which had to be done because of the legal reasons, and that caused a little bit of distraction, and that is the reason why probably our performance was slightly below expectation in the diagnostic segment. However, now that is all behind us, and we expect this business to generate more value. We feel that there are certain synergies which are there with the hospital business as well. And with the new age diagnostic, genetic testing, etc., with huge focus on the specialized tests being done at the Agilus, we expect this business to grow well. So we have all the options open, and an appropriate call will be taken in the due course. As you might be aware that we have a put option on us, and in case that is exercised, we are contractually obliged to buy the PE stake. However, we feel that there is a lot of value in this business, and we can build on this further. And that is what our preference is.
Right. We saw some, in fact, we saw you exiting some businesses as well in FY24. Any more such exits that you may have planned in FY25? Any restructuring?
So essentially, these two assets we have exited out of in Chennai, but at the same time, we enhanced and added almost similar number of beds through our Manesar acquisition. So it is clearly a rationalization strategy. Those two assets were not performing to our expectations. And at the same time, we believe that a cluster where we have a deeper presence makes more meaningful sense to create a sustainable and impactful business. So the 5-6 clusters where we are present, Punjab, NCR, Calcutta, Mumbai, and Bangalore, is the clusters where we want to keep focusing. So we have a lot of brownfield growth coming here. Over the next few years, we would have a total of about 2,000 beds added to our network. Out of that, about 300 we have already added last year, 700 would come this year, and the following will come in the next few years. All the projects are on track, and we expect that capacity to come. So that is why we, from time to time, we keep on evaluating our portfolio. And if there are any units where there is some challenges, we would evaluate them. But there is no immediate plan for any other facility at the moment.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining in and giving us a heads up as to how things are shaping up for Fortis Healthcare. That's the management talking about higher diagnostics growth in FY25. Well, here's a programming note. We at ET now are conducting a mega poll. This is amid the Lok Sabha elections. So what exactly does the verdict mean for the markets? How are CIOs and market participants like you expecting to position your portfolio? Be a part of the survey. All you have to do is log on to Twitter or X and follow at ET Now Live, that's the Twitter handle, and cast your vote. Today's question coming up for you. The question is, which sectors would be in your overweight list post the election verdict? Share with us your answer for this question of the day on Twitter or X or the hashtag election verdict with ET Now.